Hello, this is Katie, and I wanted to show you how I created a wreath builder stencil. It doesn't have to be a wreath, it can be a circle of anything, and you can expand outside just the circle too, but I made this, so I wanted to show you how to do that. There are a few other videos I found on here. I just wanted to contribute the way I did it as well, so you can search like wreath building stencil or something like that. So this is the one that I have. I'm going to show you how to make this. Excuse me. And so I started with a 6x6 square. I think I'll leave this one in here. So I have the card I stamped is 4x4, and I have a I just cut this with my trimmer to 4x4 inches. The only stencil that I have that was going to be the best size for this was stitched, but the stitches are on the inside, so it is just cutting the square out of this this stencil back here. So I used this and then did it that way, and I'll show you how to do that part. And then all I did was stick it in the corner and tape it down. So you want to leave your stencil taped, and then you're going to use your magnets to hold down the card that you're going to be stamping. And then eventually towards the end of what I was stamping, I think the berries were the last ones I did on this one. I didn't actually put a magnet on it because your little stencil kind of holds it in place, and you're just stamping a quick berry and then turning it. So you don't have to use the magnets if your stencil is holding the card in place good enough just for a quick stamp. And then I will show you how to do the stamping part as well. So I'm going to set this aside and show you the big shot cutting portion. And then I have the Merry Christmas stamp I used as well. Okay. So for this, we just want to just center it, center the die in the square, the 6x6 square, and run that through. The big shot is 6 inches wide, so that is the widest it will go. So when we run this through, I'm not going to tape this one down, I'll tape it down after the second, or for the second go through. And I'm going to run it backwards as well. Okay, so I saved these two because that's a good piece of cardstock for another card, another time. And then what I did, I'll try and scoot this into the view, is turned, actually, yeah, I don't know why I cut the other one. Now I'm trying to think. Interesting, okay. So then we'll turn, I think what I did, that was dumb, was I turned, the first one I made, I turned it like this and tried to do the square that way, but you can just leave it and turn the die. So the one that's cut up in my, that was obviously the first one that I made. So just turn it, and we're going to cut it this way, and we want to make sure we get it as even as we can because we're eyeballing it. So just make sure these little triangles peeking through here are all the same size visually to you, and they look centered. And then we'll just kind of tape it to the die, the paper, and the platform just to hold it in place, and then we'll send this one through. I think that finished. There we go. So then we just want to pick this up without tearing it. Then you have the little corners that are going to fall out. We don't need those. This one's taped down, so we can just toss those with the tape. And you can do this with whatever size square that you want. This just kind of works for me. So that's what your stencil is going to look like. I will put this away. Okay, so now we have that stencil, and I think I'll replace the one in here with this one. Just to see how different it is. So I'm going to take this one out and I've ripped it, so it is not a stencil anymore. So this is my new stencil. So I'm going to place that in the corner and then tape it down. I just have some purple tape. I'm going to stick it to my hand first because the first go of it can be kind of strong. Just tape it down on the 3 corners is good enough. Okay, and then I'm wondering if I can tape the edge maybe on this one. Probably go around it. Okay, so tape it down however much you want, just not in the middle because that's where we're going to be putting the paper. And then for the example that I showed you, I used the Deck the Halls stamp set from Lawn Fawn, which is great for building wreaths. But again, you can do it with anything. I have just some things sitting here. I have the little Cocoa Mouse from Simon Says Stamp. You could use the little cookies. You could use the mouse 4 times, whatever you want to do. But I will show you the wreath one. So I have my 4x4 card that fits in there, and you can hold it down with your magnets. The first thing I'm going to do is actually stamp the sentiment in the middle, which I'm going to eyeball. So I have this Merry Christmas that I actually just saw on Hero Arts Stories because it's one of the things that's on sale for whatever deal they're having, maybe Cyber Monday or today or whatever. But I just saw that and I'm like, hey, I have that stamp already. So I'm just using Memento Tuxedo Black. I'm going to eyeball the middle the best I can. The stamp is straight on the block, so I don't have to worry about that. Alright, so I've got that now. So what I did is I took the first piece of little pine, this one right here, and just set that down where I wanted it to be all around. And then you pick it up and you can kind of pin them down at the corners, makes it a little better. And then Lucky Clover is actually kind of a better green, I think. Evergreen Bough is a little more pastel or light green. So then you ink up your little guy, stamp him down. Once is good. It's a Distress Oxide, so it's very pigmented. Then you pick up and turn this way. Now I'll show you how to do it without sticking the magnet down. Your stencil is mostly holding it in place. It's a tiny overlap here because I hand cut this 4x4 on my trimmer, so it's probably like 1/10 of a millimeter off. But it'll hold it. Then you just stamp up again, or ink up, stamp, and then turn it a 1/4 turn. Ink it up again. And if it gets a little too inky while you're going about halfway through, you can clean it off if you want. But most of the ink is going to come off. So we want to turn it again. Stamp him down. Turn it. Ink. So you can see that I don't really need the magnets because your stencil is going to hold your card in place. Stamp it again. Turn it another 1/4 turn. And then you have your full circle of that one. So then we can clean this guy off. And I did another, on this one you can, hopefully you can see, and I put glossy accents on the berries at the end, but this is the Evergreen Bough and this is the Lucky Clover. So the mix of the greens is cool too. I just like this green a little bit better. But then you can take, let's say your second, I actually did the pine cones next. So what I did was I wanted them, I'll hold this down for a second while I show you. I wanted them kind of, I don't know, just tilted a little bit like that. So it's going to look like that every time you turn it. So for this one, I used Rich Cocoa Memento. I don't think I have a Distress Oxide in a brown, like a dark brown. So I'm going to set it where I want it on every turn. And then ink it up over here. Make sure it's got plenty of ink. Stamp him down. And then turn. And then turn again. And then I'm just going to pause really quick while I finish turning these and finish the pine cone, and then I will be right back. Okay, so I finished that, and I actually went over all of them again because I double stamped or double inked up one of them, and it looked a lot better because it was a little darker. So I was actually able to turn it, and the position was still good, so that worked out too. So now I've set the smaller little pine, I don't know what it is, pine piece, that guy, right here, and I'm going to pick him up and then use Evergreen Bough. Set that in front of me and stamp him a little off to the right, and then a quarter turn, do it again. And again. Another quarter turn. Then we'll turn. I'm going to get ahead of myself and ink one of these twice, and it's going to be mushy. All right, and then our last one. Oops. That works. Okay, so when you cut your cardstock to fit in your stencil, because my stencil is exactly 4 inches, the cardstock may be like a tiny little millimeter smaller, and then it will fit in there just fine. Most of the time this is fitting on like half of it pretty well, but it works out just fine. So then I will use my chamois, so you all do not yell at me for using alcohol swabs. I wet up my chamois today. I promise I will use it. And then all I did was I grabbed the little berries. There's a little three dots for berries. And then I just kind of set them, I think I set them like amongst the leaves or something, but they could just go anywhere. I want to try something different and put them here so the red isn't completely, well, it's fine. I want to put them up there. Okay, so then pick it up, get that thing centered again, and then I used candied apple. I haven't opened Festive Berries. I think it's just a little lighter. I was making a joke in my haul video, the one before this one, that I made another, I have a different card lying around here somewhere. This one. I made this one with Lucky Clover and Candied Apple, even though I also bought Evergreen Bough and Festive Berries. But they're just a lot lighter, but I'll use Festive Berries on this instead of Candied Apple. Candied Apple is just a lot brighter of a red, but we will do those. So then every quarter turn, make sure you're in your stencil. They'll be in the same place that you put them. So hopefully this is, oops, sorry about that, new to you, and you give it a try. It should be pretty easy, as you saw, to build your little stencil. Like I said, there are other videos out there if you go look at them. I can't remember who did it. I just sent it to someone on Instagram as an example before I decided to make this video. And she did like little Christmas toys from Lawn Fawn sets and just kind of kept building out. So she has this whole wreath of things, like a little teddy bear or a doll or a train, and some hearts and stuff like that. So you can build wreaths if you have a wreath piece set, or you can build a wreath of things, whatever you want. So that is the wreath, and then I'll probably add glossy accents to the berries just to give them something. But anyway, hopefully that was helpful, and I will see you next time. Thanks for watching. Bye.